Come with me to create a more blended blonde on my new client today. First things first is I'm mixing up Oligo Cool Tone Bleach in 10 volume. And then you guys are also going to see me grab a little secret ingredient here. Yep, that's right, guys. That is a big old jar of cholesterol from Sally. Terata wanted to jump in here and say, don't knock it till you try it. It's to make my life easier. I could do without it, but I'm going to make myself work smarter, not harder. So anyways, here I go, baby lighting my back out, working my way up the back of her head. So as I'm foiling her up, I'm making sure to take very, very thin slices, and I am putting more bleach on the dark pieces, less bleach on the previously lifted pieces. I am dusting it on some of the previous blonde spots here because they were a little bit too warm in certain areas. So after I'm done putting those 2 foils by her nape area, and then on the right side I put about 4 foils, I am now twisting her to the other side to pop in some foils there. Sometimes I work my whole way up one section before twisting the chair around, and other times I kind of like to bounce back and forth so I can just better assess the situation at hand. I also think I'm going to start bouncing back and forth on everybody because it's kind of nice to have both sides of the head kind of processing at the same time versus like the right side being completely finished before the left side. And I actually am going to be putting tip outs back here, just not yet because the tip outs I don't want sitting on as long. And as you can see, I'm now connecting the 2 sides together. And I gotta say, I love using my foil board in the back half of the head because as I work my way up, the head is the foil board. It is something for me to rest the foils on, kind of like about at that point. But prior to that, the foil board, I love putting it against my stomach and getting really good tension on the foils at hand. And now this is when that secret ingredient is about to come in handy. So as I'm working my way up back here, this is a pretty wide section I'm going in and foiling. Instead of dividing into 2 sections, I'm taking one fat ass foil here and I'm using the cholesterol as glue to hold the foil in together, making sure that foil stays nice and close to her scalp. It doesn't slide down because lifting it back up would be hard considering how wide it is. Typically, I like to do more of a peace sign section unless I'm using cholesterol to help me out. And when I get to more of the top section of her mohawk, I will not be using cholesterol because 1, I will be taking smaller sections, but 2, I have to put some color in between to break up her previous foil lines that she has going on so she's not as much of a contrast chunky. I wish I didn't use that word, whatever. You guys get what I'm saying. I'm trying to make her blended. I also didn't even mix up the low light yet for in between those foils because I knew I wasn't going to need it in the back of the head, and I'd rather use fresh color than color that had been sitting for about 30 or 45 minutes. It probably took me about 30 minutes to foil up the back half of her head. Actually, just kidding, that was a lie. It took me like 45 minutes. And then finishing up the other sides and top, it was about an hour and 15 minutes of foiling total. So once I work my way up and I'm getting to the point that is going to need those low lights in between, I ditch the cholesterol and I start working on the sides of her head. For this, I am doing 3 back-to-back super thin slices, leaving out hardly any hair in between to give her a nice blonde when she pulls her hair back. She loves to wear her hair back a lot because she's a weight loss coach. So if anybody needs help with that, I can send you her contact info, but she's also in the gym all the time pulling her hair back. So as I was foiling up her hairline and working my way up, you guys could see I was starting to pivot up towards the top. Again, taking super fine, thin section. And I'm almost at the point that I'm going to flip her to the other side. But prior to doing that, I am doing those tip outs on the ends that I said I was going to do because I wanted those other foils to get a head start prior to me putting the tip outs on. I'm still using the Cool Tone Bleach in 10 volume here, but the saturation is not crazy heavy because she's not super dark on those ends. So then I get to the other side and I am just repeating the same things, 3 super thin slices as I am pivoting up the side of her head. So as you can see, I'm still on an angle and now I'm getting a little bit less on an angle. And then I'm going to be even less on an angle, and I'm going to keep pretty much using that same pivot point, which is where her hairline pattern at the top kind of divots in. She does have a bit of a V shape because she does have a widow's peak at the very front. So now that I'm at the top of the pivot, I am starting to work on her top money piece. And for that, I am doing those 3 back-to-back slices yet again on each side of the widow's peak. And then when I'm getting to the 4th foil, I am leaving out some hair in between because we worked our way far enough back that she will have that veil of brightness when she she pulls the hair back, but we also don't want her to look like she has just a total solid headband of blonde. We want it to cascade down, kind of like hair contouring. And as you can see, I'm now repeating the same thing on the other side. I'm doing those 3 back-to-back slices, leaving very little hair left out in between, and then I start to leave a little bit of the natural color in between. By the time I get to the 4th foil, I actually ended up doing 5 foils on each side here prior to connecting the 2 together. And for that, I'm taking another little thin slice there. Oh, look at me. I was live during this, so I guess I decided to try to give you guys a little bit of a better camera angle. And I am doing 3 more slices here, but I am leaving hair out. And now I'm getting into the horizontal placement. So ignore the bad angle here. But as you can see, she kind of has like really heavy face framing, like almost like curtain bangs going on. So that's why I put that 1 added foil in, which I end up doing on the other side too, just to help marry everything together. As I am going through her foils here, I am making sure to pick up those dark pieces and leave the super blonde ones out because I don't want to fry off all her hair. Or do I though? I'm pretty jealous. Like, look at her face card. She's a hottie. And whenever I'm trying to create a really blended soft blonde, I love to take horizontal sectioning because mohawk sectioning can sometimes give more dimension, more contrast because of how the foils are laying. It's very blonde, dark, blonde, dark. We're doing horizontal. It kind of just gives you that veil of brightness. It can still grow out really nicely if you do a root smudge, and as long as you're not doing too heavy of foiling, as long as you're leaving out some hair in between, because the foils that you are putting in are so thin that they're almost see-through. So you can still see some of that dark hair underneath. It's not like you're taking a thick slice that is just going to be like a panel of heavy blonde laying on top of everything. Hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, the visual might help explain better. I'm not the best with words. But anyways, once I'm done foiling these up, I do a little wellness check on the back foils, and they are looking like they're almost ready to be rinsed. They probably need about 10 more minutes, which is perfect because I'm about to go mix up the color for in between these highlights to help break up the previous foil line. And for that, I am mixing up Oligo Calura Gloss. I am doing 1 part 8N, 1 part 8A, 2 parts clear, with equal parts developer 7 volume, and I'm just going in between these sections now, painting it on to help blur away those lines. This is almost like my little magic eraser that I'm able to use to help get rid of anything that could be leaving her not looking as blended as possible. I also did a root tap using the same formula minus the clear. And as a reminder, this was her before. These are her final results. We also did not do a toner. We just kept her nice raw blonde, but we did do a nice deep conditioning treatment and trim.